The first thing I noticed was the clouds. They weren't drifting. Not slowly. Not subtly. They were frozen. I only looked up because my phone died mid-call, and I lifted my head in frustration. That's when I realized the world had stopped moving. The wind wasn't blowing. The trees weren't swaying. The birds in the sky were suspended mid-flight, wings stretched outward, perfectly still. I blinked hard. Once. Twice. Everything remained frozen. Except me. My first instinct was panic. My second was denial. Maybe it was a trick of the light. Maybe my vision glitched. I stepped forward cautiously. The leaves under my feet didn't crunch. They didn't move at all. I reached out and touched one hanging from a branch. It was solid. Like plastic. Like the world had been paused. The street beside me was equally still. A car mid-turn. Its wheels slightly lifted from the ground. A cyclist frozen inches from the curb. A woman on the sidewalk with her hair lifted by a wind that no longer existed. No sound. No motion. I shouted. Nothing echoed. The air swallowed my voice instantly. I pulled out my phone. Dead. Completely black screen. The battery hadn't been low before. It just stopped. I walked into the street. The car's driver was mid-blink. His eyes half closed. Face caught between expressions. I waved my hand in front of him. No reaction. I touched the hood of the car. Cold. Unreal. The sky remained unchanged. The clouds locked in position. Like someone had pressed pause on existence. I felt something shift in my chest. Not fear. Awareness. If everything else was stopped, why wasn't I? I walked further down the street. Each step felt heavier. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was thick. Oppressive. Like the world was holding its breath. Then I heard it. A faint sound. Footsteps. Not mine. Behind me. I turned slowly. He stood in the middle of the road, watching me. A man I had never seen before. Mid-30s. Wearing a dark jacket. Calm expression. He wasn't frozen. He was moving. "You noticed?" he said simply. My throat tightened. "What is this?" He glanced up at the sky. "Maintenance." "What?" He walked toward me casually. "The system paused." "System?" He nodded. "It happens sometimes." "This isn't funny," I snapped. He didn't smile. "I'm not joking." The air between us felt heavier than the rest of the frozen world. "Why am I not paused?" I asked. He studied me carefully. "You slipped." "Slipped where?" "Between frames." The words felt wrong. Too abstract. "This isn't real," I whispered. "It is," he replied calmly. "More real than you think." He gestured around us. "This is what your world looks like when it stops pretending." I looked at the frozen cyclist again. The suspended bird. The motionless sky. "How long will it last?" I asked. He tilted his head slightly. "For you?" My heart skipped. "For me." He nodded. "You're not supposed to be aware of this." "Then why am I?" He stepped closer. Close enough that I could see something strange in his eyes. They weren't reflecting light correctly. Like there was depth missing behind them. "Because you started asking questions." "About what?" He smiled faintly. "About reality." The silence deepened. The world felt fragile. Like a glass sphere waiting to crack. "You get one choice," he said quietly. "What choice?" "Go back in." "Go back where?" He gestured toward the frozen people. "Into it. Forget this. Continue." "And the other option?" His expression shifted slightly. "You stay aware." A chill ran through me. "What happens if I stay aware?" He didn't answer immediately. The sky above us flickered faintly. For a split second, I saw grid lines across the clouds. Perfect squares. Perfect symmetry. Then it disappeared. "If you stay," he said finally, "you won't fit anymore." The world shimmered faintly, like pixels misaligning. "You're telling me none of this is real?" I asked. "I'm telling you it's structured." The difference felt massive. The silence pressed harder against my ears. "Why me?" I whispered. He shrugged slightly. "Wrong place. Right awareness." The frozen world around us began to flicker. Tiny cracks of movement appearing in random places. A leaf twitching. A cloud shifting slightly. "You have to decide now," he said calmly. "Decide what?" He looked directly into my eyes. "Whether you want comfort or truth." The world trembled. The cyclist's wheel jerked forward a millimeter. The suspended bird twitched midair. The sky pulsed faintly. "You won't remember this if you go back," he said. "And if I don't, you won't be alone." My heart pounded violently. Comfort or truth? Illusion or fracture? Normal life or something beyond it? The cracks in the sky widened slightly. The air began to vibrate. The world was about to restart. Or collapse. He extended his hand. "Choose." I didn't take his hand. Not immediately. The world around us trembled like a screen buffering, like reality itself was trying to decide whether I still belonged inside it. The cyclist's wheel twitched again. The frozen driver's eyelid flickered. The clouds above glitched, not drifting, but pixelating at the edges like something rendered too quickly. The man in front of me didn't move. He simply waited. No pressure. No countdown. Just calm certainty. "You're not choosing between good and bad," he said quietly. "You're choosing between familiar and real." My chest tightened. "If I go back, everything continues?" "Yes." "Job. Friends. Life? Exactly as before. And I won't remember this?" "Not consciously." The sky cracked again, faint geometric lines spreading outward like fractures in glass. I looked at the frozen woman on the sidewalk. Her hair suspended midair. I tried to imagine never knowing. Going back to normal conversations. Normal routines. Complaining about traffic. Watching the news. Pretending everything was solid. Stable. Permanent. My stomach turned. "And if I stay?" I asked. His eyes darkened slightly. "You'll see what holds this together. And what holds it together." For the first time, he hesitated. "Not what you expect." The vibration intensified. Sound began to return, but distorted. Warped echoes of engines, fragments of wind, like reality was booting up. "You're running out of frame," he said. "Frame? This moment is collapsing." I swallowed. Fear tried to anchor me to comfort. But curiosity pulled harder. My whole life, I had felt something slightly off. Like standing in a room where the walls were just a little too straight. Conversations too predictable. Events too coincidental. Patterns repeating in ways that didn't make sense. I had always dismissed it. Until now. The sky flickered violently. The clouds broke apart into grids for a split second again. The frozen bird dropped 1 inch before snapping back into place. "If I stay," I said slowly, "what happens to me?" He stepped closer. "You stop being rendered the same way." The words chilled me. Rendered. The ground beneath my feet shimmered faintly. I looked at my hands. For a second, they weren't solid. Tiny flickers at the edges. Like bad reception. "You're already phasing," he said calmly. "That's why you can see this." "So I'm broken?" "No," he said softly. "You're awake." The world roared suddenly. Engines restarting. Wind slamming back into place. The cyclist jolted forward an inch, then froze again. Now, he said firmly. Choose. My mind raced through every normal thing I would lose. Morning coffee, laughing with friends, the illusion of safety, the simplicity of ignorance. Then I thought about the grid in the sky, about the cracks, about the way everything felt staged even before this happened. I looked at his outstretched hand, and this time I took it. The instant our skin touched, the world shattered. Not exploded, shattered, like glass dissolving into fragments of light. The frozen people dissolved into outlines. The buildings peeled away in layers. The sky folded inward like a collapsing screen. There was no noise, only a deep hum. Then silence. When my vision cleared, we were standing somewhere else. No street, no buildings, just an endless horizon of soft light and faint geometric structures stretching outward like scaffolding. The world stripped of decoration. Where are we? My voice sounded clearer, less echoing. Behind it, he replied. In the distance, I saw something enormous. A lattice. Massive and intricate. Lines of light connecting to points I couldn't comprehend. Pulsing gently. That's the framework. My heart pounded, but not from fear anymore. From understanding. The reality I knew wasn't gone. It was layered, built, structured, and I had stepped outside the surface. Can I go back? I asked quietly. He looked at me carefully. You can observe, but you won't fully belong the same way. I looked at the lattice again, the light pulsing through it like a heartbeat. Are there others? I asked. He nodded toward faint shapes in the distance. Figures moving between lines of light. Watching. Adjusting. They slipped too, he said. I realized something then. The world hadn't paused randomly. It paused because I questioned it. And questioning it made me visible. So what happens now? I asked. He gave a faint, almost human smile. Now you learn how it works. The horizon pulsed again. And for the first time in my life, the sky wasn't above me. It was open.